That's
Well, you have likened it to, you don't tell the person playing or conducting the symphony, well, I want you to play this part now and then that part
Right.
later.
Well, our situation is, if for those of you that have not been at Trotters, it's sort of the Henry Ford school of thought, which is, you can have any color car you want as long as it's black. Well, you can dine any way you want to at Trotters as long as we tell you what you're going to have. So we drive the train, but presumably we know what we're doing. And so if you're having a tasting menu that's made up of anywhere from 8 to 18 courses and small little things, organic product mainly, virtually no cream or butter, very light Asian overtones to things, very wine-friendly food. Trust us. I used to always make the offer, and people would say in the beginning, because we were one of I think maybe the first restaurant, possibly in the U.S., that offered strictly tasting or degustation style dining back in 1987, and that was it. You're going to have this thing. You don't have choices. This is the menu, or you can have the vegetable menu, or you can have the all red wine menu, or the seafood menu, whatever. But you pick the menu, and that you're on for the ride. You're getting on the train and you're going for it. And in the beginning, a lot of people didn't grasp that, and they would say, "Well, I don't know. I don't really want to eat that much food." But no, sir, the portions are quite small, and it'll be the right amount of food by the time you're done. And we had to do a lot of talking people into things. Well, what are sweetbreads, or what is this thing? I don't want that. Tripe and a ravioli with skate wing, that sounds too weird. So I used to make the offer all the time. The offer was, if this is not the finest meal you've ever had, there is no check. Not only is there no check, but you'll be given a Charlie Trotter's gold card, which will entitle you to eat here whenever you want, forever, with as many people as you want. So,
How come I didn't get that offer the other night?
However, if it is the finest meal you've ever had, then you must shut up and offer your praise. So, well, we had a little more swagger then, I guess you could say.
Well, you say that, but you do. There's a vegetable menu, a vegetarian menu, and
Sure.
then there's the grand menu.
Well,
and you allow people to
No,
go
you
back
have
and
choice.
forth.
I mean, you can say, well, I like this grand menu, but I really don't like pigeon. Oh, and then the server will offer a half a dozen options to substitute for the pigeon course, or
Which was great, by the way.
well, thank you. Yeah.
I had the pigeon course. First time I've ever had pigeon. And
It's great.
I brought my own butter.
That's one of the local no, listen, it's one of the local products that we use. I mean, literally, I'm talking about right from the city.
I thought I recognized him. So the restaurant will be coming up on, well, it's nearing its 25th anniversary.
Around the corner.
If you were to look back at the beginning and now, would you say a lot has changed at Trotters? What would you point to that has changed?
Well, a lot has changed in terms. We live in a great time for dining out because back when we opened in 1987, there were 4 or 5 big name restaurants, and then there was another tier of really good restaurants, but not trying to aspire to the sort of 4-star level. Then there was another tier, but people really, it was a big deal to go to La Francais or to go to La Perroquet or go to one of these fancy places. And I remember even growing up, when we would go to an Italian restaurant, you either ordered spaghetti and meatballs or lasagna. I never went to a Japanese restaurant until I was 22 years old. And now people are so food savvy and so sophisticated. They can go to an Italian restaurant and order pasta by its name in 8 different types of pasta. They can go to a Japanese restaurant and order sushi in its Japanese name. And they watch food TV shows, and they read cooking magazines. They have cookbook collections. They put on these big productions weekends, sometimes cooking for friends. So it's a very, very savvy and sophisticated clientele. But it's no longer just saying, well, I'm either going to go to the Everest Room, or I'm going to go to Trotters, or I'm going to go to La France. It's saying, well, we could go to Publican, or we could go here, or we could go to Japanese or Sushi Samba, or and so people look across a whole strata of possibility, and it's great to be a consumer these days, because the food is great at all levels, high quality. I mean, I used to take a lot of driving trips across the country, and between Chicago and Denver, there would be nowhere to eat. Now you can stop in Davenport, Iowa, and go to a P.F. Chang's and get pretty high quality seared raw tuna in a salad. I mean, in sort of a chain type restaurant. So good eating is everywhere. What's changed regarding Trotters, though, is it's a continuous sort of work in progress. We've always tried to just, I liken it to like just polishing a little gem, if you will, and then trying to make it better and better and better. But it's a perpetual work in progress.
About 10 years ago, you created a mini stir, maybe a big stir, when you had told an interviewer that you were hanging it up, or you were thinking of hanging it up, because you felt that that you had spent so much time and you had devoted so much of your life to it that you kind of felt a void, an intellectual void. You hadn't read a lot of books, and you said something to the effect of, if I reach the age of 50 and I still have that void, I'll feel bad. Have you been able to? You haven't closed down, thankfully, but have you been able to fill the other parts of your life while keeping the restaurant going?
Well, thank you for that question. It's tricky because to do something at a certain level, you really need to concentrate on it excessively and
What?
and push it and so it means a single track devotion to what you want to do, and sometimes other things become neglected along the way. The pile of the great books sit unread still next to my bedside, so maybe one day I'll get to some of those books. Any more trick questions
No,
for me?
it wasn't a trick question.
Where are those 2 Pabst beers that I ordered, by the way?
Can we get 2 Pabst? I want to have a Pabst beer up here. Can somebody get a Pabst beer for Chef Trotter? I guess.
By the way,
Yeah.
speaking of beer
Yeah.
and Pabst beer,
Yeah.
unbeknownst to most of the world, at one point, I think I was 13 or 14 years old, I had one of the largest beer can collections in the Midwest. And I had these old Pabst beer cans, the type, the cone top types. I had a friend, and he and I would go to junkyards and recycle centers and just a lot of places, and we rounded up thousands of amazing beer cans. It was a major part of my life for about a year.
That's so funny because I
Now, don't say anything about that outside of this room, because I have a certain image to...
It's going to be posted on the internet.
Oh. All right.
We can take that out. We can say you were
Edit that,
collecting
please.
organic squab. We can have somebody overlay that. Well, you mentioned all the great restaurants, and obviously there have been so many chefs who worked at Trotter's who now are... Oh, thank you. We've got the Pabst. Hold on.
Well, I'm not having one unless you do, because you gave me 2 tickets, so I'm going to buy you one.
You can share it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Don't use.
Are
the
these
mug.
empty?
These are dirty.
All right.
I'll drink from mine, but you can drink from the.
Well, no, I just
All right.
like to look at it.
All right. It's beautiful.
It's very pretty.
Okay, a lot of chefs who've worked at Trotter's.
There's there was a law that was passed
Yeah.
about 2 years ago. You are not allowed to open a restaurant in the city of Chicago unless you've worked at Charlie Trotter's. Just kidding.
The question is, you demand.
Anybody out there?
You demand you say 2 things. You say, on the one hand, I want to hire somebody who is ambitious and who has the desire to go out and do that kind of thing.
Did you used to work for me or something? Or
No, I just
Oh, no, 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 no,
I
no.
just spent a few days.
no. But I'm thinking that you know enough about me.
Yeah.
I don't really even need to be here. You could do this. I say that in a complimentary way
No,
because
I did. I take it as a compliment.
No, because
And next time I will do that.
I appreciate that. No, but you hit it on the nose. It's a double-edged sword because when you hire people that
Yeah.
when you say to them, where do you see yourself in 3 years, which is one of the standard kind of questions people ask, or where do you see yourself in 5 years? And if someone says, well, chef, I see myself in 5 years being a sous chef for you, versus somebody that says, well, in 3 years or 5 years, I see myself being the executive chef of the Four Seasons Hotel in Chicago, or I see myself running my own restaurant, or the trade-off is that in the case of the latter, you're hiring somebody that has much more ambition and much more drive and isn't afraid of 19-hour days, 7 days a week,
Yeah.
and because they have ambitions and dreams for themselves. So the trade-off is you have them anywhere from 18 months to 2-3 years, but then they're off and onward. So, but it's worth the trade.
Yeah. Well, let's end it with this. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? Not bad, huh?
No. I see myself with my own interview program at a local joint that is podcast around the planet. And maybe you'll be willing to be one of my guests.
I'd be honored. Chef Trotter, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.